Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be reviewing one of my favorite books of all time, Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. When I first read this book, I was in high school, so I was at that age where I didn't know anything, but I thought I knew everything. And I remember loving the book for the story itself, for the poetry, for the way it was told, for the exciting this and the romantic that. I remember really, really loving it and falling in love with it. And I kept it with me all through life. Just in different circumstances, I'll always refer back to that as my favorite book. But now that I'm a woman, it's and I've been through love, I've been through divorce, I've been through different circumstances and different things. It hits so much, so much more differently. And I don't I think this book just grows with you. And I think that's the best type of book there is not just for that one fleeting moment where you can just, get your little thrills with the spice or, just pick apart that one thing because it's in that one moment. This book transcends and I absolutely adore it. So I'm just gonna gush over it for a little while. Hopefully, I won't spoil it too much because I still want more people to read it. But I'm just gonna talk about different things and just pick out the good and the little bit of bad is not that much, but it's a little bit that I was like, oh no. So if I'm looking down, if you see me looking down, I'm just looking at my notes here. So the story starts off with the character Janie, and you see her going walking through town, and a lot of people are gossiping, trying to figure out where she is and why she looks the way she looks and what happened to her man that she rushed out of town with and she was all happy. And then you see different perspectives with the way the women were looking at her versus the way the men were looking at her. And the men were like, hey, I like what I see there. And you just see that she's just walking through, not really paying anybody any mind, not really talking to anybody. And it's not until her best friend Phoebe comes up and, talks with her and try to figure out what's going on with her. And that's when Janie just kind of sit down and tells Phoebe her life, or like the she tells her what happened when she left town, but it was mainly just a combination of everything that she's been through all the way up until that moment of her coming back. And she did this mainly, I think she was aching to really tell her story because it was nothing, there was no one really who had heard her story. Everyone else wanted things for her and wanted her to be a certain way and wanted her to do a certain thing, but no one really was interested in what she had to say and her perspective on anything. And I think Phoebe was that person that she could really tell her side to. That it wasn't too much judgment there. It wasn't too much of her trying to impress. It was just her laying it all bare. So I really like that, and I really like that we got to be Phoebe as well. Just kind of like that open ear to hear everything that Janie was going through and what she's been through in her story. So I really like that. The funny part about this story is that it was, even though it was so heavily in Janie's, life, it wasn't from Janie's perspective. And I found that to be interesting because with her discovering so much and feeling so much and wanting to know so much that you would think that it automatically be like I saw, I did, I felt, but it wasn't. It was just like that world around her as she was discovering it. We were, the world itself was playing a part in what she was feeling and knowing and having and experiencing. So I thought that was. I think if it was done today, it was definitely going to be from her point of view, just because we had to see the different nuances of things from what she was experiencing right there in that moment, and just the gut wrench of things. But it was beautiful, regardless. It was beautiful. Um, so Janie sits back and she tells her story. She tells her story from, when she was a little girl all the way up being raised by her grandmother. She never really knew her father, never really knew her mother, and her grandma was pretty much everyone that she knew in her life as the person who loved her most and took care of her. And when Janie reaches 16, that's when she really starts to explore, like, what is love and why is love and where is love and where is life and all that stuff like that. And I think a lot of people can possibly believe that this is a love story, and in a way it is, but it's more of an exploration of life. It's more of her trying to figure out what life has in store, what life, this concept of life. What is it? Like, if it was a box, what's in the box? And it's like we get an understanding of her trying to figure out, wow, this is what it's all about. And I see it in different things. I see it in the trees. I see it in the sky. I see it in, animals. But what is it like for my life? I like how her first glimpse of what love could be and what a marriage was just being a flower. And I love that because the way she saw it, it was like the bee went to the flower to give what it had, and the flower opened up to give what it had, and it was a mutual exchange. And I think that's what Janie was truly believe what marriage and what love is, that equal exchange of things. So you can see that throughout the rest of her life, she was always kind of searching for that willingness to give and that willingness to be given to. So I really like that part. And as soon as that, as she figures out, okay, this is what I suspect love is, she goes and she kisses a boy, and her grandmom sees it, and her grandmom is more of that mindset of, okay, love is great, but without security is nothing. Without stability, without someone protecting you, a man most likely, preferably, love is nothing. So she marries um, Janie off, you know, before she tells her, no, after she tells her story and why she's doing this, and you get a sense that the grandma, even though the grandma married off Janie to this old man that Janie didn't care for at all, you felt the grandma's fear and love and fierce protection of Janie. And she just wanted to be, wanted to do right by her before she passed. So that was, Janie's first husband, and he was he was one of those men that just thought that you weren't good if you didn't work. If you didn't put your hand to the plow and push, you were no good to him. And Janie was like, no, 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 this is this is not it at all. So she leaves him. She goes off to her next husband, Jody, and Jody. I wish I could. I'm trying my hardest not to get too much away. But Jody is one of those men where it's all about status for him. It's all about appearance for him. He does not care what anyone really does. unless it makes him look good. And there's so many men that's in this world right now, just all you are to them as a wife is a prop. As a trophy wife, as someone they can post next to themselves to just prop themselves up and to make themselves feel good as far as they have accomplished something. And Janie left with him because she was convinced that he was going to offer something better, that she was going to be shown something different, something more of a mutual exchange of life and ideas and concepts and everything, and that did not happen at all. Jody was very controlling, very abusive, very possessive. He wanted Janie all to himself, and even though in his mind, I truly believe that he was giving her everything that a woman dreams of, especially a woman during that time, dreams of. He did not give her anything that she really wanted because he didn't take the chance to know her. He wouldn't let her speak for herself. He wouldn't let her, you know, conversate or converse with anyone really in town. He just wanted her to kind of like sit there, shut up, be nothing, be a ghost pretty much. And that's what she became for a really long time. She just kind of bottled up her thoughts and bottled up her feelings and just became a ghost around town. And then comes TK. Um, no, before I even get that, just I want to explore Jody when, by the end of Jody's life, he had such a an anger in him, and that's something that a lot of people don't really explore with this book. Just that turn of Jody, like when Janie did everything that he wanted, you know, she talked back a few times, he shut her down. He wanted her to tie her hair up, she did it. He wanted her to just, focus on theirs because they had a store and he was the mayor of the town, the new town they were in. Everything that she kind of did, or I'm sorry, everything that he wanted her to do, she did. But it did not, it was not good enough because one of way she looked, because as he was getting old and bigger and running down, she was kind of like coming into herself, blossoming, um, looking a little bit more shapely and having people like, come after her because she was looking good. It's not even just for her age, she was looking good. And he just was so upset and so irritated that how dare she outshine the image of what he was. How dare she start looking any better than him? And you would think that he would be on that mindset, okay, this is my trophy wife. I I am going to reflect from her. Like I am going to be whatever she is and whatever she has is going to reflect on me. But that wasn't the case with him. And I want to say he was just a bitter, angry man towards the end because he desperately hated her. And that was one thing that really touched home with me because it's one of those things where you just can't predict, like, okay, I gave you my life and you still hate me. That was something that really hurt, and I felt that completely. Just as a divorcee, I felt that completely, believe me. Um, so there, here comes Tea Cake, and he is cute. He is slick talking, and and he absolutely loves Jamie. Like they have a mutual thing for the first time in Janie's life. It feels mutual. It feels like there's trueness being exchanged. Like she's she doesn't have any pretenses. He doesn't either, and they're just exploring each other, enjoying each other's company, and it was really nice to see. But you could feel how hesitant she was to love TK because she was saying like, "Hey, he could just be some slick talker that just coming, into town and just wanted to do this and do that," and she was not true of, no, she was not sure of his feelings. And he had to just convince her, like, "Hey, you are the real deal. I am the real deal, and I won't take advantage of you. I won't do anything to harm you." So I really like that aspect because the one thing she said when Phoebe started asking her a bunch of questions, not as she's telling the story, but within the story, because Janie was prepared to run away with Tea Cake, and Phoebe was like, "Okay, are you sure this is what you're doing? You're taking a gamble." And Janie's response was like, pretty much love is a gamble. Love is taking a chance. Marriage is the biggest gamble there is. And that I felt that one. I definitely felt that one because that's how it is. You are putting everything on the fact that this person that you fell in love with, that you shared however long it took you to get to that marriage, you are banking on the fact that this person is going to stay loyal, stay the person that you fell in love with, and love you genuinely throughout all the ups and downs that y'all go through. That is a gamble, and there's so many people, so many have not made out well. They have not. They have risked it all and bet the farm and lost everything. So I really like the fact that Janie was saying like, "Hey, I I am eager to see what life has in store for me, and I hope I don't lose it all, but I'm willing to see if this is worth the risk." So it's one of those. I really liked it. I really really liked it. So that is the good. She goes through everything with TK. They fall in love. They have this beautiful marriage, and it's everything that she wanted love to be. That passion, that laughter, everything. And then something tragic happens with Tea Cake, and it breaks my heart still. I had to read it recently just to make sure I got the right proper notes to write all down, and it made me tear up all over again because I remember crying when I was younger, just reading it and just that devastation of it. But I was tearing up all over again, just reading it and feeling it all over again. It hurt me. It hurt. It hurt. But it was one of those things where it's just kind of that lived and that lost type of thing. Whatever. I feel like I know the quote, or I should know the quote. It's better to live and love and live. I don't know the quote, but it's one of those things where it's like, wow, I'm a new person because I was transformed by this love, and it was beautiful, 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 beautiful. So Janie comes back to town, and that's when she kind of wraps it up with Phoebe and just tells her, "Hey, this is what I've been through. This is what life, as I have experienced, is." And I like the fact that Phoebe was like, "Okay, now I want to do it," and that was the point of Janie's story. Well, not the whole point, but I like that that was one aspect of Janie's story that when she told it, other people will be inspired to then start exploring it. Just something out of life. It doesn't have to be you born here, you die here. It didn't have to be that. It could be that you're going to different places and you're experiencing different things and you're meeting different people. And I don't know how necessarily well that would have been in the 1930s, being a black woman or being a black person. but it was still something that was worth exploring, um, and still something that's worth reaching for, aspiring for. So I really like that. So all of that, that's all the good. I encourage everyone to read it. I encourage everyone to make this a part of their, you know, must reads. I know a lot of people will say that, Dune is a must read, Lord of the Rings is a must read, Emma or not Emma, Wuthering Heights or what's the other one? Jane Eyre. They can say that's, a must read for their life. But I think this one goes right into that category as well. I adore it, and I would recommend it to anyone who wants to read it. Now, as far as the bad, I would say that because of the way the book it is written in that I want to say ebonics type of way that it was it was the way people actually speak. So if I say I, it'll be spelled AH. If I say that or if I meant that, it would be spelled DAT. So it was really hard to read it the way it was. It was almost the way Shakespeare is, the way that he might write something, the way that it flows might not be what you would read and hear and take in as a book. So I really encourage everyone to, if you're going to read it, like if you just read it outright, it's not a problem at all. But I really encourage people to read it and listen to the audiobook at the same time. Like that's what I had to do just to make sure that I wasn't taken out of the story as I'm trying to read it and get the nuances of the characters and everyone like that without being lost in this is not how this word is supposed to be. So I that was my one takeaway from that. I was like just there's an audio book. I think on YouTube. I actually have the audio book itself, but there's one free maybe on YouTube or just kind of floating around with Ruby D, and she does a great job just reading it and having it flow and everything like that. So I really love that. Um, Janie was lucky. That's my second one. She was very, very lucky because it's, as Janie is talking, Phoebe reminds her of a woman named Annie Taylor or Annie Tyler. And I felt so, so bad for Annie because she was one of those women that, so many women, that goes off to have kind of like that love affair with a young man. And it does not work out for her at all. And it practically kills her. I think it does kill her. That it's not even like the men did it. It was the hope that this is what she built her whole life up to, just to be so disappointed um, at the end. And I think the loss of that hope killed her. And everyone, not everyone, but Phoebe was mainly just thinking like, hey, this could be your life. And even Janie thought that at one point, because at one point she couldn't find tea cake, and the money that she had with her when she ran off with him, that was gone. So she was just broken to the point of, okay, I was a fool to ever think that somebody of that age could want me and all that stuff like that. So it was definitely something that is the fear for a lot of older women um, dealing with anyone younger. And it doesn't even have to be like, young, like half their age young. It was more or less like anyone who was not older or in that same age range as her is almost like, okay, if he's younger, what does he want with me? That type of thing. And that's a fear that's in so many women's minds when you're dealing with someone who's younger than you. So I was looking at that. I'm like, oh, Janie's gonna be Annie type. Oh no, please don't. So that was one of the things I was thinking of too, because I'm like, okay, she is going to get her heart wrecked by this man. But Tea Cake is one of those guys where it's just like uh, he's so passionate and so energetic and lively that he'll give you all of his heart and he'll be true to you. But he's also a gambler and he also stays out at night and he also, you know, carries a switchblade. You like God Almighty, and it's just you're like you are some damn type of rogue. I don't even know what to say to him. It's just like you are all over the place, but you. But would it be a tomcat? It was like a loyal tomcat type situation. Like, yeah, I know you're gonna just run all over the place, but